Defunding the police was an idea formulated by criminal anarchists who wanted to use street gangs to set up protection rackets across major cities. The plot did not fare well despite being taken up by Democrats and liberals. It was not only a partisan and racist policy agenda, it was anarchist. It was motivated by the intense hatred the left and its allies have for conservative rights. Defund the police was a radical platform that died because anarchy is not something the rich and powerful want, whether they are on the right or left, but this does not mean the concept itself, stripped of its anarchy, does not have value. The problem with the institution of policing is that policing, as is common to all of society's institutions, is not compatible with conservative rights or with the conservative way of life. The police are designed to do one thing: protect the liberal agenda. One would like to think the police are not partisan, but even with the best intentions there is no path to being socially neutral. Even if all one does is obey the law is either for Christianity or not. A husband cannot be neutral about all women. If he is to be a husband, his focus is his wife. If the police are to function as a police force, they will be liberal and exhibit a liberal bias. Liberal biased policing has happened, not because the rank and file are all politically left. Usually the opposite is the case. But, as is the case with the other institutions we live under, the executive embraces power as a solution. Figuratively, if not literally, all those who embrace power as an option have sold out to China and a fascist mindset that aligns with the New World Order. This is not a conspiracy theory, it is an outcome of logic. If you think power disparities solve social problems, you will, on average, side with those who think the same and with policy that reflects your mindset. Statements about partisan policing sounds like a standard conspiracy theory, especially when the left hates the police, but conspiracy theories are not based on logic. Institutions on the left always tend towards centralization. This is why they are on the left. The left is based on the administration of power, and this includes the police. The police favor a police state because a police state is fascist. Regardless of individual protestations, the logic of policing makes them susceptible to preferencing a fascist police state, especially a worldwide police state. Defunding the police disempowers them. But this plan is a trap when looked at from the perspective of a conservative. If we support the police without reservation, we get a police state. If we defund the police, we get anarchy. The left wins in either case. When liberals seek to defund the police, they simply transfer funds to other socialist institutions. Defunding the police only changes which agency is pushing socialism forward the most. A tactic used by businesses to reduce costs is called downloading. What it entails is having upstream costs forced downstream to lower-level operators, such as the manufacturer. Lower-level operators absorb costs that had been the responsibility of a retailer. Conservatives have a right to lower costs and reduce wastes in keeping with our right to earth. This is an alienable right that cannot be abrogated, rescinded, revoked, or removed. Conservatives have the right to reduce costs and find lower-cost ways of doing things. What better way of lowering costs than by absorbing costs, so long as it is the savings remain local and are not exported out the megacity dictatorships? Conservatives can defund the police by eliminating the need for police by stepping up their own enforcement operations. There is a need for policing. We all agree the need is real. We do not want to be overpoliced or overcharged for the overpolicing. To be overpoliced or poorly policed is not just uncomfortable, it produces unnecessary costs. We do not need conservatives policed, we need liberals to be policed out of our jurisdictions. The intent is not to dilute enforcement when it comes to serious crime. We have to consider the cost of justice. Crime is a cost, but so is policing. If perfect policing has an infinite cost, the absence of policing comes at the same price. The objective is to reduce the cost of crime. Crime is a cost and policing is part of that cost. Any solution must cost less than present costs. The day of throwing money at problems is past. Reducing crime is not the same as reducing the cost of crime. We can reduce crime by making draconian laws and giving police services a blank check. We want to pay less for something we do not want. The cost of crime and the cost of policing criminals is part of the same budgetary item. The civil force program is designed to reduce the cost of crime. Reduction in the rates of crime will happen because we cannot decrease costs without decreasing crime. But it is fair to say if costs increase, the program is not working. The first fact that needs to be appreciated is that the police exist to reduce the cost of crime. Policing is an activity directed against criminals because crime is an unprofitable activity. There are two types of crime, coercive and covert. It is reasonable to suppose if there are two types of costs, there are two methods of handling these costs. Coercion implies force or the threat of force. The coercive category will not be discussed at this time. As of this time, the assumption is that coercive crime will continue to be dealt with using conventional forms of policing. Covert crimes are less serious than coercive crime. Some covert crimes are even considered victimless. The crucial feature of a covert criminal act is that it does not involve a coercive element. Covert crimes are about the breaking of trust. Covert crimes include crimes of deceit and dishonesty. People are scammed out of sums of money. The degree to which victims are complicit or victimized varies. The point is that these are crimes because they create costs that are not covered by the actions taken. Covert crimes and cost negative. Purchasers of drugs and prostitution services purchase a manufactured reality. This is not much different than what happened when people stream videos or buy beauty products. Where the line is between marketing and fraud is that marketing promotes a sustainable business and scams create costs not borne by the scammers. The objective of conservatives is to reduce costs. But what we ought not do is to link these costs to us. The earth is our church. Crime impacts humans, but it is tangential to the harm it does earth by taking attention and resources away from its care. Conservative rights are based on our Christianity, on our membership in the Church of Earth. As Christians, we have dominion over the earth. The Church of Earth is governed by councils. The council always seeks to lower the cost or stewardship. We have dominion, but it is based on our capacity to care for the planet, specifically the local jurisdiction in which we are citizens. Acts of deceit and betrayal are everyone's concern. Even crimes that often require complicity of the victim. Prostitution, petty theft, disorderly conduct, noise, property disputes and so on are petty crimes, but they still have social costs, and they still impact our ability to reduce costs. Councils form the governing body of the church and include all able-bodied conservatives. The mandate of the church to control unregulated costs is predicated on the principle that all crime is unrecorded or non-mandated cost that need to be reconciled. Cost avoidance invariably begins at a young age. Bullying, property damage, unruly behavior has costs. Anyone who encounters a cost because of the behavior of someone else has the right to challenge the behavior. Claims are made on the basis of the accused having created costs that has not been paid. If the cost is not made good and the behavior persists, witnesses are called. The witnesses, preferably 2 or 3, approach the accused with the evidence. The details of the case are recorded. Upon a third occurrence, the accused is brought before the council of the church. The council consists of a quorum of adults who know the accused. At this time, the record of the accusation and the record of the accused is made public. The council adjudicates the case and determines the path of reconciliation. Costs considered do not just include the plaintiff but the community and anybody which has suffered a loss because of the accused actions. The accused is on parole until such time as the penalty is satisfied. If the accused continues to create costs, a council is convened to tighten the conditions of his parole. The accused will systematically lose his or her freedom as costs mount. If incarceration or physical restraints are applied, the prisoner is responsible for his or her expenses. Any costs created remain outstanding until paid off. Until such time as the accused makes full restitution, he or she is under some form of observation and restrictive control. At some point, if reconciliation is considered beyond the accused's desire or ability, he or she is ostracized by the community.